Ladies and gentlemen, Mitch McConnell is promising or demanding a Clinton precedent for Trump trial. McConnell, this is The Hill, January 6th, today, 2020. McConnell, Senate should stick with Clinton precedent for Trump trial. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell on Monday said the Senate should follow the precedent of then-President Clinton's 1999 impeachment trial as lawmakers debate the rules for President Trump's proceeding. McConnell, speaking on the Senate floor, warned that House Democrats were trying to get the chamber to, quote, deviate from a unanimous bipartisan precedent set in the 1999 trial of President Clinton and write new rules for President Trump. House Democrats' hunger to break on Senate precedent, just like they broke on their own precedent, could not be more telling. But the Senate does not just bob along on the currents of news cycles, McConnell said. He added that the, quote, House may have been content to scrap their own norms to hurt President Trump, but that is not the Senate. McConnell's comments come as he and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer remain stalemated in their negotiations for the rules of Trump's trial. The talks could come to a head within days, with Speaker Nancy Pelosi expected to transmit the articles as soon as this week. So that would be interesting, although she's been playing this game where she says she'll never give the articles. She will give the articles. She's not. Well, now people are saying, I guess, from this article in The Hill, that she'll actually send them to the Senate. McConnell has said he wants to pass two resolutions similar to the Clinton trial. The first, okay, so let's look at this. The first, passed at the outset of the trial, would establish the rules. A second resolution, passed after opening arguments and questions from senators, would determine which, if any, witnesses will be called. 3 witnesses gave closed-door depositions during the Clinton proceeding, though McConnell, who supported witnesses in 1999, has said he does not want witnesses as part of Trump's trial. So first of all, the issue of witnesses helps Trump because he's going to demand, Republicans will demand, that Joe Biden testify. Joe Biden has a lot to answer for, namely why he forced out a prosecutor and who gave him the authority to do so. The defense is that, he forced out the prosecutor because of corruption. Well, that's the defense that Trump has regarding reviewing military assistance. There's no direct evidence that Trump that shows that Trump withheld military assistance because he was afraid of Biden or he was trying to interfere in the election. There's no direct evidence. There's a 538 article and Associated Press article below in the description section explaining there's no direct evidence. So media acknowledges there's no direct evidence. What they're saying is there's circumstantial evidence, but President Zelensky stated and Poroshenko stated there was no pressure. There was no leverage. President Trump didn't pressure them or leverage them to investigate the Bidens for the military assistance. So that never happened. Okay, and then you have Marie Yovanovitch, who in an exchange with Congresswoman Elise Stefanik stated categorically that yes, President Obama's administration gave her talking points regarding Hunter Biden. So they knew of Hunter Biden's conflicts of interest. So that's another witness. Another witness is the intelligence operative, then Adam Schiff. So the interesting thing is they're like, well, this is about Trump. No, to prove that it's about Trump, you'd have to prove that it's about that Biden and Hunter had no conflicts of interest. The Senate has a unanimous bipartisan precedent from when to handle mid-trial questions such as witnesses in the middle of the trial. McConnell said on Monday, quote, that was good enough for President Clinton, so it ought to be good enough for President Trump. Fair is fair. But Democrats want one resolution at the outset of the trial that tackles both the rules and a deal on specific witnesses. They've asked for 4 witnesses, including former National Security Advisor John Bolton, who said earlier Monday he will testify in the Senate if the Senate issues a... You know what's interesting? They didn't want Bolton to testify in the House. They could have had John Bolton. In fact, there was an article saying Bolton was waiting for, he was waiting to be, to testify during the House impeachment. Without a broader deal between Schumer and McConnell, 51 senators will be able to determine the impeachment trial process, including if witnesses will be called. So, at the outset, Republicans can silence Democrats with a simple 51 vote majority. If McConnell could put together most of his 53-member GOP Senate, he could pass the impeachment trial rules that he wants over the objections of Democrats. The impeachment trial is expected to be discussed at the Senate GOP's closed-door lunch on Tuesday. Democrats need 4 GOP senators to side with them. So Democrats need 4 GOP senators to side with them in order to call a witness or compel Ukraine-related documents. So I don't think they're not. Senator Susan Collins said last week that she is open to witnesses, but that a decision on who, if anyone, should be called should wait until after initial arguments and senators are given a chance to ask questions. So they're going to... Schumer refusing Bolton testimony would be participating in a cover-up. A cover-up of what? They don't have any direct evidence of anything. There's no evidence of a crime. The people who are said to be leveraged literally stated there was no leverage. So Democrats are actually fabricating. They're actually in the most arrogant and narcissistic manner accusing 2 Ukrainian leaders, the current and his predecessor, of lying to cover for Trump. President Zelensky stated there was no pressure. President Poroshenko stated there was no pressure. But McConnell's like, wait a second, you allowed this type of precedent in the Clinton trial. So, his whole thing is like, Nancy, I'm demanding a Clinton precedent. You remember Bubba Bill? Don't get so excited, Nancy. I wasn't referring to everything regarding Clinton. I don't look at you the way he looked at Monica. No, Nancy, we're going to go ahead and we're going to vote. This happens to be the Senate. You've already made your bed in the House. And John Brennan and others have frequented that bed in a house. I'll just call it the House of Ill Repute. My goodness, makes Sodom and Gomorrah look like Disneyland. Anyway, Nancy, we're gonna continue with the Clinton precedent. The Clinton precedent, and I'm not talking about cigars and dresses. I'm talking about voting. We're going to vote, Nancy, and you can't stop us from voting. When you need 4 turncoats, and I'll make sure that with my good charm and good looks, that nobody deviates from the plan. Mitch McConnell out. Without a broader deal between Schumer and McConnell, senators will be able to determine the impeachment. Okay, so Democrats need 4 GOP senators to side with them in order to call witness or compel Ukraine-related documents. So they need 4. Pelosi needs 4. Pelosi needs 4 Republicans. Okay, that's just not going to happen. I don't believe that's going to happen. All right. Even with Murkowski, Collins, and Romney, you would still need a 4th. This is going to be very interesting, ladies and gentlemen. And if they want, Democrats they're funny. They want witnesses, but they don't want witnesses on the Republican side. So any deal regarding witnesses would have to be, there would have to be witnesses on the Republican side. Democrats are going to get witnesses on a fabricated crime. Okay, Again, Clinton is going to be nominee. I understand people haven't heard from Clinton, and it's a ceremonial position as a dean or chancellor at a university in Northern Ireland. That does not mean she's not going to be nominee. If it's the choice between, okay, let's just assume for the sake of argument, which I don't think that's the case, but we'll assume for the sake of argument that Clinton cannot become president. She'll lose to Trump again. But that Clinton cannot become president if she remains as the chancellor of Queen's University, Queen's College in Northern Ireland. Well, then guess what? I don't understand what the problem is with the leaps of logic here. Or the simple, then she removes herself from being a ceremonial chancellor or dean. How difficult is this? Why? People are so petrified. They're so petrified of Clinton being nominee. He's working at a college. She's teaching biology. She promised to teach biology at a college. She can't be running anymore. It's going to be the No Malarkey bus tour. Okay. President Obama has literally stated he's going to intervene if it's Bernie. Bernie has no chance. He had a chance in 2016, but they cheated him. How do we know? Because the Russians hacked the DNC to inform the country that Bernie was cheated, but gave Clinton the popular vote. So that's how good the Russians are. Okay. It ain't going to be Warren, and it ain't going to be Biden, who Biden wants a Republican vice president. He wants only one term. That's the fighting spirit right there. Only one term. I promise to only be a one-term president. When have you ever heard that? Said nobody ever. He's losing money, okay, and what was the other thing? Oh, he told coal miners to learn to code. Okay, he told coal miners to learn to code. I mean, and then everything else with cornflakes and I mean, all of his bizarre, leg hairs. My leg hairs straighten up. Just imagine the wonderful picture. So, I just, the people haven't heard from Clinton in about a couple weeks regarding this, and suddenly it's not happening. I know. Clinton is going to be nominee. Just letting you know, okay? It's not going to be Biden, because even Biden doesn't want to become nominee. But anyway, the articles of impeachment, let's see. So now they're saying Pelosi articles of impeachment. Now they're saying, nice. There's GOP senators moved to dismiss articles of impeachment amid battle with Pelosi. Yes. This is great. Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri joined a host of fellow Republicans on Monday to introduce a resolution allowing the chamber to dismiss the articles of impeachment against President Trump for lack of prosecution. This is really, 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 really interesting. So I will be doing a segment on this. And John Bolton Slayer says, I will testify if subpoenaed. And they still, even Democrats are like, do we really want this guy to testify? Oh my God. Bolton, throughout this whole process, was like, I'm here. If you want me, I'm here. I have some information on a fabricated incident that I think, So if she doesn't turn over the articles by this week, this resolution by Josh Hawley could take into effect, or McConnell could actually look at this resolution, because he stated, Lindsey Graham has stated, and Josh Hawley has this resolution now, that if they don't get the articles by this week, or latest next week, that they're going to toss everything in the trash. They should just do that. They should do it. Oh my God. They should They should just wait like 1 day, 2 days, and be like, oh, didn't get it? Okay. Done. Anyway, McConnell wants the Clinton precedent, which is an immediate vote. And if they don't get, if Democrats aren't able to get the votes they need, which is 4 Republicans to switch over, then that's it. They don't get their way. They don't get witnesses, which witnesses aren't going to harm Trump. It's just fuel for media. The whole ploy regarding witnesses is not that they're going to find some kind of evidence, because there is no direct evidence. They still haven't found any direct evidence of wrongdoing. The issue regarding witnesses is that they want some way to prolong this, because they know that if they give the media just something, the media will run with it. Okay, American media now it's just activists. Journalists now are activists. They're not journalists. You can look at old CNN clips. Look at old CNN clips, and the difference, the way pundits back then spoke about Democrats versus Republicans. Well, pundits maybe were more partisan, but the average news anchor, the news anchors at CNN were simply news anchors. Okay, they were, and MSN, ABC, NBC, CBS, they were simply news anchors. They were not partisan advocates. Nowadays, it's basically like the media is literally an extension of the Democratic Party. Any nonsense that takes place, whether it's a dossier purchased by Clinton or impeachment. Now, I mean, people are talking, they're like saying, oh, well, you know what he did? He withheld military assistance. That's why he was impeached. It's like, you don't know that. He withheld military assistance because of corruption. Joe Biden fired a prosecutor because of corruption. They believe Joe Biden. They don't believe Trump. But then the main thing is they don't believe Zelensky and Poroshenko. The 2 leaders of the Ukraine literally stated, there was no quid pro quo. They've already stated there is no quid pro quo. No leverage. So, the issue here is that they simply want to prolong this, because in the House of Representatives, they had about 6 diplomats and 4 academics, none of whom had any direct knowledge or direct evidence that Trump committed a crime. Not just a crime, much less even wrongdoing. They have no direct evidence. They have no documents where Trump said, I'm worried about Biden. Like I said, Biden is not going to be the nominee. If you look at one of my older segments on H.A. Goodman's other channel, Clinton literally says she has a good idea. She has an idea, or she goes to pretty much know who the nominee is going to be. It ain't Biden. She wasn't talking about Biden. Okay? She was certainly not talking about Biden. Give me your thoughts below. This is going to be very interesting. You're going to see in the next couple of weeks, when this is all said and done, and either the Senate trial is over or it's tossed out or whatever, because they'll spin anything to pave the way for Madam Secretary 2020. And think of it this way. Do you know how people were like, oh my God, Clinton's not running. She's not only going to run, she'll be in the nominee. How it happens, whether it's a week before Super Tuesday or a week before the convention, who cares? But her vantage point is, look, you had Biden. She can always say, I didn't even want to run. So that's like the whole thing. Like when people are going to be like, oh my God, not again. Democrats literally have nobody. They literally have nobody. So if anything, she'd be doing them a favor. she'll lose again. Like I said in 2017 in the Huffington Post, Clinton 2020 is a reality. Get ready for 8 years of Trump. She'll lose again. But, all of this, she'll run in 2024, but all of this is to pave the way for you-know-who. Madam Secretary, give me your thoughts below. They want the Clinton precedent. Give me your